there's a lot of like the ugly truth of what some organized religions can be and can really harm people and have harmed people.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about to witness
the journey that is the Lyfe Choyces podcast.
Yeah!
We're all very different human beings, and we all are here for very different things. And
we all have a different journey that we're on.
Right.
And we're all trying to figure out how to do it successfully, mentally, physically, in a way in which that we can spend our days happier. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest goal, is just to be, not this, like, you can't really be that happy. Like, yeah, you can be if you choose to be. Like that, I understand that belief. I am a structured person. Like, if I don't have structure, then everything kind of goes to chaos. Like, I know that about myself. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like you're saying, I don't beat myself up if I don't get all 12 things done that day that I wrote down. Mm-hmm. I just want to get as many as I can get done without it taking away from my physical or my mental health. Mm-hmm. If I feel that I'm putting pressure on myself, which I can agree with you, there does seem to be, for whatever reason, some kind of block right now. And that's why I keep reading this information and trying to look at how other people get through things, because you can always find some kind of tidbit from somebody that you could implement, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But that's the whole thing. It's a process. You're trying to figure out what are, like, I talk about practices. I find that the ones that I do every day absolutely help me maintain a happier life. It's gotten me to a place where I'm not wasting my time, with what I call silly stuff. My roommate and I joked the other day, like, he said last night, he's like, let's stay up till 4 a.m. and watch movies. And I was like, oh, dude, I got to go to bed. It was like 9 o'clock. He goes, yeah, but we used to go to the bar. I was like, oh, my God, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we did. We used to go to 4 a.m. and have no problem doing it. So, like, the practices and the structure I have now really does keep me on form, online. I don't even know what
it keeps you balanced.
Keeps
probably.
me balanced, yes.
Yeah. And I get that. Like I said, with all the travel, like, there was a lot of the routines that I really appreciate at home. Like, cooking for myself is huge. And now that I'm whole food plant-based, like, traveling, it's really hard to find food that I can actually eat. And a lot of the times I'm having like one meal if I find a restaurant that fits. And then I'm eating, like, carrot sticks and cashews and whatever it is. And I'm like eating like a traveling forager, which is okay.
Right.
And then I get home and I'm like, grocery store, start meal prepping. And I've got my routines. I have my matcha with turmeric latte on the front porch, and I watch the sunrise, and I listen to the birds, and I write a gratitude list. But, today I didn't do my gratitude list. I went to the gym, I chaired a meeting, and I came here. And I'll do my gratitude list later, and that's okay. Like, it'll be, a different perspective rather than the beginning of the day or the end. I think, you can take these things from different books, but, like, you're never going to be Joe Dispenza or Lewis Hayes or whoever. Like, you're going to be able to practice the things that make sense and that click for you and are healing for you, and then you release the things that don't work. But let go of that expectation or that pressure that we can put on ourselves sometimes, where I think it's all around us in, like, we need to have these goals, and it's like this career driven, you must go to college after high school and you must do this, and
clearly didn't work for most of us.
Right. And then I'm like, well, I don't think so. Like, I don't think that's oh my gosh. One of the things that the speaker said today, he said, and I'm going to mess it up, but whatever. A teacher asked a child in school, and it's one of the famous musicians, so I'm totally, like, messing this, but, asked all the kids to write down what they want to be when they grow up. And they all wrote down, like, firefighter, policeman, whatever, president. And he wrote down happy. And she said, I don't think you understand the assignment. And he said, I don't think you understand life. And it made me think of when I was in this Blue Mountain School, Floyd, Virginia, like a little amazing alternative school that my mom had me in for a little while. And I remember they asked us to write down, it was either what our goal in life was or what the meaning of life was. And I wrote to be content. And I don't know how old I was, but I do remember that. And sometimes I've beaten myself up in different stages of my life about like, gosh, how undriven was I? If that was my, like, to be content, that sounds so lazy, right? Like that voice inside my head of like, who the heck are you? Why aren't you more driven? And now I realize, like, to be content, that's peace. That's inner peace. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't need to
Absolutely
know what I'm going to
not.
be doing in 5 years. And honestly, like, making money and paying bills, that's great. Like, I love being able to have a house and have a car to drive to work, but I also need to make sure that I'm like just truly happy and content. It doesn't really matter. Like, money comes and goes, houses come and go, all these material things come and go, but to actually be in touch with myself and spiritually in tune and just purely happy. Like, I can I can watch a flower open and then the flower die, and like, wow, what a gift. What a gift.
To be able to walk around with a feeling of I'm good.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like people always say they chase after peace of mind, and I say, well, what would be better is just a mind of peace.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
going for. Is just throughout the 17 or 18 hours that I'm physically doing stuff, minus the 7 I'm sleeping. I just want to be good. I want to help people. I want to share good energy. I want to uplift people. Like I literally like want people to smile when they see me because they know we're about to have a great conversation, or I'm going to make them feel good because I'm going to compliment them, like the little things,
Or you're gonna cook them boss ass food.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
But like to see that joy in someone else's face from something that you're doing because you have a mind of peace and you're able to float around with that joy, that's my biggest goal.
Right. And it's so simple, right?
I think it is. It's so simple, but yet so many people have a hard time thinking about it.
And I think one of the biggest challenges is staying centered on that and not letting other people's stuff
Boggle you up.
get into it. And instead of absorbing things, like being able to just bring the joy. And if you can't bring the joy, letting it be what it is, just each person has their own path and the things they're going. But man, when I start drifting and I start feeling that like frantic feeling of drifting away, I know how to pull it back. And it can be as simple as just like closing my eyes and taking a deep breath. Do I need to drink some water? Do I need, a snack?
That
Don't
is
get-
what I'm learning right now.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest things through all of my educating myself is when those feelings, when those emotions of things that you rather not have start coming in, is learning how not to brush them under the carpet, because that's not good for anybody. That's what I did for 30 years of my life, is allowing them to come in and dissecting them to a point where I'm okay with it. Like to be grateful that I'm grateful that I get to enjoy the negative feelings, like the sadness, the depression, the anxiety, the worry, because I only allow it for a short period of time. I almost put a cap on it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, all right, well, what positives are going on? What's something good in my life currently right now that I can focus on, because I'm okay with that being that right now. That's just this minute. And now this minute, I'm going to think about how great it is that I'm going to go home and spend time with my dog, or I'm going to go home and I'm going to get to sit down and study because my studies is furthering me as a person.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I'm implementing on a daily basis and it comes with, like I keep saying, like, I'm just grateful that I'm becoming more conscious about my thoughts, and I'm conscious that things are happening when they're happening so that I can actually confront them. So I can actually deal with them right now, because for my 30 some odd years of my life, I didn't face anything. I either brush it under the carpet, or I just, like a good man, just put it down here somewhere.
I can relate.
Yeah.
And I know that started for me as a child. Like, there were things that happened in my family that we just stuffed those skeletons straight up into a closet, and that closet never got open until way later. And I was like, whoa, that's not healthy. That doesn't feel good.
Our generation.
Yeah, I
Because
just
I'm older than you. I
a
know
teeny
that.
bit, maybe.
I'm older. Relax. I'm older than you. I'm taking this one.
You're like
I'm
a
older than
year
you.
older than me or something.
Whatever. Uh,
Okay.
the way our parents were brought up was very similar to the way we were brought up, where everything had to be buried and it wasn't allowed to
Yeah.
like, it just wasn't like, there wasn't a safe place in the household necessarily
Yeah.
to have these
What's with that?
conversations. I don't know, because let me tell you, if there was, my relationship with my father would have been way different growing up when I lived with him. And I probably wouldn't have, and I've admitted this before, even to this day, and he's been passed on for 8 years, trying to get his approval, because we never had that conversation. We never had that open space where I could be like, yo, why is it this way? Why can't it be this way?
External validation. That's what it is.
Talking about me? Oh, here we go. I told you it was gonna be a therapy session today. No, but listen,
That's it. That's it.
I have
Let's
absolutely
unpack this more.
okay. That's I got time. That's always been, and that's not something that's hidden. Whether it's with the community here, they know my relationship with my dad, or it's with my actual family, who even my sister-in-laws, they've made comments before where I know they know this, you know what I'm saying? Like, they know it to a certain extent, where, they would say something like, oh, your dad would be proud of you knowing that you're doing this, or, being that you've taken care of your mom for the past, like,
As a
however
way
many
of
years.
consoling you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Or empathizing with me on
Yeah.
that fact. I loved my father, obviously. We didn't get along living together. When I left home, that's when the relationship got better. I know he was proud of me, because he verbally said it to me, when, like, I think I was like 25 or something like that. And then in the yachting industry, having my parents come to Florida a couple of times and taking him on the yachts and taking photos, and, like, I know, like, he was proud, because when I went home, all his friends would come around and ask me about the boats and stuff like that. So I could see,
That he's been talking. Yeah.
yeah, he's happy, he's proud. So I have that, but there's still, again, like we said earlier before we started recording, there's all these little things from your childhood that we hold on to until we confront it, work through it, understand it, and then let go of it.
Yeah.
And even though I've done that with certain aspects of my life, for some reason, there's always been a lingering. And that's why I still feel so connected with my father. Like, I talk to him as much as I talk to my mom, and he's been gone for 8 years. Like, even in the moments where I do worry, because I feel like I'm a human, so worry happens, I always thank him for being above me and watching out for me and helping God take care of me.
That's beautiful.
And that's why I share that with everyone, because there's
Yeah.
nothing to be ashamed about. If you have a past relative, friend, whoever's not here anymore with you, for you, you can still talk to them regularly, and you can still feel them. Like I see my father probably 6 to 8 times a year, and I know that I'm seeing him because it's in my dream.
It's like a Simba Mufasa thing.
It's 100%. No, but like, literally, like 2 nights ago, I had a dream and he was in it.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with anything. It was just, he was
We were
there.
just together.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in that same moment when I see him, I know I'm in a dream, because I know my father's not alive. But here he is, like, literally him.
Your subconscious is
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
I touch him, I can hear him, I can talk to him. Sometimes we bicker, but it's just okay.
Did he set like a really high standard for you?
He set a high standard just in general because of who he was, or at least and again, this is a whole other thing, because we as children interpret our parents differently than we would as an adult if
Yeah.
we met them as an adult,
Yeah.
or we interpret them differently than they interpret themselves. But my parents, together with a handful of couples, built our congregation. Okay. My father went to high school with our rabbi, and my dad was president of the congregation twice. My father was someone that people went to, like, just regularly. He was a lawyer. So, like,
Wow.
there's like a whole lot there right?
So he was like a spiritual advisor, leader, and lawyer.
I don't know how much of a spiritual person my father was. He was definitely religious.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because like when I was growing up, I always ventured more to the spiritual side.
I got you.
And my dad wasn't until he met my mom. And then when they created a family, my father became a very religious forefront figure in our congregation.
Mm.
And so therefore, like my brothers and I, we were the David boys. Like we were looked at under a microscope for sure. Like everything that we did in that forum amongst our congregation, it was like like we knew at a young age we're representing dad,
Uh-huh.
the family. So
When did you break away from that?
as soon as I moved out of home,
Okay.
I mean, I moved away from it like.
But you kind of went like rebellious for a
Oh,
while
I was
before you found your
for
spirituality.
a while, like
The 30 years you're
for
talking.
like 30 years,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to follow a certain way of life for the 19 years that I lived in my parents' house.
Mhm.
And even though probably around 14, I mean, 11, when I started doing shit that I shouldn't do, you know, that's kind of when I started to be rebellious. I mean, I was going to synagogue with a shaved head and a bomber jacket.
Mhm.
Probably not the right look for a synagogue, right?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
Definitely not. Looking like a skinhead.
experience.
Not the best way to go to Jewish temple,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
With a Guns N' Roses ripped T-shirt. Anyhow, I rebelled.
Everyone was concerned.
Yeah, I rebelled quite a lot as a young person, trying to figure out who I was, and I was trying to do that for, like I said, a better part of 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were probably testing the boundaries and yeah.
Constantly. And then once I left home, I left religion, like absolutely left religion, and always lived my life in a spiritual-esque way.
Mhm.
But it wasn't until I really started diving into this information, I want to say 10 years ago, around 35, 36, 37, something like that, when I started looking at how I was living my life and how I didn't want to live my life.
Mhm.
Then I started finding that Buddhism has always been something I've been drawn to my whole life. And then I have I have the Torah, the Talmud, I have the Bible, like I have all those books, but like you, like I agree, there's a lot going on there that doesn't make sense,
Mhm.
but they all follow certain key things, which is being kind, don't kill, don't steal, respect your elders, all that sort of stuff I get. I love what I get from spiritualism, like actual spiritualism, like where you like dive into like Buddhism and find out like why you are who you are or how the universe works together, like that aspect of it.
Mhm.
But I didn't come back into all that stuff until I was about 35 to 37, and then very much diving back into faith. I've shared that story many times on this show. 3 or 4 years now, maybe 4 years now, with the situation of my life not going well at the time. Like everything seemed to be just falling within. And my friend Scotty, who is very religious, Bible, like, family goes to like all sorts of, he's just very much into it.
Mhm.
But I didn't ever make fun of him. I always loved him for who he is, and he saved me. Like I can honestly say that with his words, with him not doing what I asked him, requested of him, and him coming back to me and saying, "Well, I can do this for me. Try this for 7 days, and let's see how it works." And that's what brought me back to faith. It wasn't anything else. It was literally a friend of mine who said, "Just give God a chance and see what he does for you in 7 days."
Mhm.
And he gave me everything that I was asking for, the 3 things that I prayed for 7 days, less than 7 days. And all 3 things
Hmm.
were given to me. And that's how I got back into faith. And that's why I preach about the fact, do not be shy about having faith or religion. Do not be shy about having a God, having someone you talk to. Like, why has there been so much time spent on making fun of people or making people feel bad for having faith or religion? Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I think my theory would be because there are a lot of people in religion that are very much into force feeding certain concepts to other people that's very unattractive.
Agreed.
And there's a lot of judgment that comes from certain religious beliefs. And there's a lot of like punishing God type theories that make people really resentful against religion. And I think that that's a lot of what it has to do with. And that's why I think when you're using the word faith and I'm using the word spirituality, which you're also using, I think those are the same things for me. But religious being an organized religion that has certain rules, like don't worship other gods, like it's all the same God. That's the part for me. That's my understanding. We're all worshiping the same God. We might call it different things. We have how many different ways of speaking on this planet? Like some people don't speak at all, right? So it's like really just boils down to love. But I think that that's what it is. I mean, there's a lot of like the ugly truth of what some organized religions can be and can really harm people and have harmed people due to like judgmentalism and rules and restrictions. So I think that's
I
what it
agree
is.
with you, and I know that's a big reason why I left my religion like 19, 20 years old, because I was, again, there's so many things that we don't have a choice about when we're born, even though we should have full choice of everything, but we don't because we're this thing that can't speak yet. But we have all the answers theoretically within us.
Mm-hmm.
But we're given a name, we're given a family, and we're given a faith or a religion because that's what you're being born into. And then again, it was, I don't want to say it was force fed, but it was, this is what you're doing. There wasn't a choice in it. You're going to temple. You go to temple on Fridays and Saturdays. You go to school on Sundays. When you hit grade 4, now you go to school on Tuesday night as well because you have to learn the language. Then you have to at 13, then you have to do you have to stand up in front of everyone and sing. 13-year-old boy, balls haven't dropped, sing Hebrew out of the Torah and have this big to-do party that has not really much to do with you,
Yeah.
more to do about your family.
Yeah.
And there's so much that you just have to do.
There's a lot of structure.
Yes. And
Yeah.
and again, at that time, I wasn't the person I am now. So I looked at it as things I had to do instead of things I got to do. Because I do genuinely now look back and I'm grateful that I did get to experience those things.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I wish I had this mindset so I could have experienced them in the time that I had them, being present as a young person, which
Yeah.
is just lost
Yeah.
on the youth. But that is why I became a person of just high holiday Jew, which means basically September, October, when the New Year and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur come around, that's when kids come home from school to visit the family and they go to temple. But that's the only time I went to temple.
Right.
I don't remember, besides my dad's funeral, the last time I went. So yeah, when it's forced upon you, you do get pushed away from it. I agree with you on that. Religion, faith, life is about love. I do agree with you on that wholeheartedly. Because the more love that I allow into my heart, and this is something I don't think people totally understand, you have the ability to open your heart in order to receive love. But you have to allow yourself to love you, because it's not going to change at all. And that's when I figured that out, that's when my life really jumped into what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Loving myself. I literally, I'll show you afterwards, my book that I write in every single day. There's one book, I've been writing in it for over a year now. And I look back at what I first wrote into it, like my to-do list,
Yeah.
which like you see a to-do list on the whiteboard. On my to-do list, in the look in the mirror and tell yourself you love you.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember the last time I wrote it because I don't have to, because I look at myself in the mirror regularly. Even when I'm at the gym, there's nothing but mirrors.
Yeah.
I'm saying it in my head. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
You are exactly where you said you wanted to be last year. You are loving yourself. You're happy with yourself. You are realizing that there's no one else but you. Like you don't need, like, I'm not competing against anybody.
Right.
I'm just looking at that person and wanting to be 1% better than him tomorrow.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Just be that little bit better of a person. Not better as in like, oh, I've got more money. I'm a, but,
Not the ego.
No. Just be a better human.
Right. Yeah, I relate to that 100%. And that's so important, to love yourself. I was sharing at a meeting at the residential of the recovery place that I went to IOP for. It was around Valentine's Day this year. And I had reflected back on the Valentine's Day, like 2 years prior. And that evening I had been at my last IOP, which was at a relapse prevention course, which was like a 3-hour meeting. And I received my like completion certification. And I was talking about that at residential, which is like a bunch of people who are like currently in treatment and, very fresh into it. And it was the first time that I like cried while I was sharing. And it was because I was talking about how that was my favorite Valentine's Day like I've ever experienced. And where there's other people that are like going out with their loved ones and doing these, fancy expensive dinners or expecting flowers and chocolates or whatever it is that the commercial holiday wants us to do. And I'm like, man, that was such a powerful thing for me on Valentine's Day 2 years ago to receive this certificate of this relapse prevention course where I learned how to use these tools to retrain my negative thinking into positive reinforcements and know that like I'm worth being sober and I'm worth recovery and I'm worth like being in people's lives and I actually love myself. And when I said that, I started crying. Like I had to like stop and then start again to be able to get that sentence out. And it was so powerful, not just for me, but for everyone in the room. Because to truly say, I love me and not have it to be like ego driven or, like I do so much for everybody else. Like, it's like I just truly, like I'm the only person who is me, who has my life experiences, my perspective, the things that I've been through, the thoughts that I've had, all of my experiences. Like there's no one else on the planet. Because sometimes we can feel very much like, well, there's so many people and so many fish in the sea. And what do I even have to offer? And, all those. And it's like, no, like I am the only me. Nobody else is here for that, like doing exactly what I'm doing. And it's very special to have that, that love for our own selves.
To have the understanding of the importance of it.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is, and I've had these moments where I'm in my own room in bed. This is like the end of my day without the phone. And I have these thoughts and I bring myself to tears sometimes because there was a very long time that I was the train of thought, the mindset of poor me.
Yeah.
Why does everyone else have this? Why don't I have?
Speaking victimese.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yes.
And then knowing that here I am at what I consider to be a young age, because I know there's so much more possible for me, to know that I'm at a point in my life where I can literally look at myself in the mirror and say, I'm proud of you and I love you, and like know that with conviction, and to know that I'm worthy of all opportunities that are flowing towards me.
Mm-hmm.
This is where that empath kind of feeling comes over myself. And I feel those emotions so much that they allow me to release the feeling of crying. Because it's not crying like I'm sad that I've lost something. I'm not sad, I'm not happy. I'm just crying because it's an emotion that needs to come out of my body.
Just immense feelings.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And I just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it's coming from the thought or the words of I'm worthy, I'm happy, I love myself. The fact that I get to have such an immense feeling. This is what I'm trying to like get in life, is huge feelings for certain things that I'm happy about.
Right. And then you don't have to expect it or need it from anyone else. And that's so powerful.
That's power.
To not have to be validated by something else externally.
I've
and
shared,
that's when you can truly offer your true self to other people and be of the best service.
the best service. And that's what I think life really is, besides about love. I think life is about service.
That is love, because it stemmed from self-love. Loving yourself allows you to be able to offer that to others. We're still talking about love.
Okay, so it's all been about love. Thank you, the Beatles. All you need is love. Bring it full circle. It's true though, because I literally go around the gym, because this is my biggest thing right now. Because like I even had this talk with this guy who's coming on the show in a couple weeks, and he said he doesn't like going to the gym at all. And I go, dude, I love going to the gym. Like I when I leave the gym, I'm looking forward to going back the next day.
Yeah.
Like I love that atmosphere. And what I love is I'm here in my journey when it comes to the gym. There are people here. been doing it way longer than me. And there are people down here who are just starting their journey in the gym. And it's a scary place. It can be really weird for people. And so I notice those people that are in the beginning stage of their journey. I go out of my way. Like I could be out of that gym so much earlier, but I go out of my way to help these individuals. Show them a good technique when I can see they have no clue what they're doing. But the one thing I say to them, which I love saying this all the time to people, is that remember, this is your movie and everyone else in here is just extras. None of them fucking matter. Just you. And I point at the mirror and I go, that's the person. That's the person right there that you're worried about right now. Not everyone else in this place. No one here cares. No one here wants to worry. Just you.
Yeah.
And they laugh, they giggle, they say thank you. And I get to leave with such a great feeling that I've actually, like in one of my other books, I write down every day, like things I did that were good or kind. And I get to write down that I helped another person hopefully get through that barrier.
Yeah.
Good things.
That's amazing. I mean, it's what I do, in the rooms of recovery. We look out for those that are new, that are like uncomfortable and shifting,
And you
sitting
can
on their
see them.
hands and spilling their coffee or trying to figure out like who's looking and who's watching. And it's like you go up and you introduce yourself and make sure they know where everything is and, find out if they have any questions. It's very much like that.
Yeah. It's we as a community of human beings on this rock floating through infinite space need to help each other understand that the judgment isn't necessarily there, it's here.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing for and I always use the gym because it's such a social atmosphere that people have this self-esteem to get over.
Right.
And once you get over it, like if you knew me 10 years ago in the gym and you saw me today, like who are those two people?
Yeah.
Because this person was Mr. Meek, quiet and just went in, did his thing and left. This person is Mr. Socialize, like just help everybody. Whoever wants it, if you gotta figure out which ones just, leave them alone. Not everyone wants that high energy.
Yeah, don't force it.
Yeah. But helping other people just genuinely, let's just wrap it up with this. Helping other people will make you feel better.
It gets you out of your head.
Yes.
And you don't want to be in your head.
No. It can be a very scary place sometimes.
Because the head doesn't like to stay in the present moment.
Facts.
And when you're working and helping other people and putting yourself out there and loving yourself, you're in the present moment. So it's a solution.
It's a solution. It's a practice. Well, thank you very much, Jasmine, for coming back for 2 wonderful weeks in a row. You are now, I think, in the top 3 of most visited guests on the show.
Wow.
Yes, we'll have you back again sooner than later, I'm sure. Alrighty.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming back each and every week. We'll see you next Tuesday, 2 p.m. right here on the Lyfe Choyces podcast. Much love, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You are now about
The Journey, Life Choices podcast.